Hello everyone. Welcome to yet another podcast on our channel Cricket Blitz. And this time, seeing your wonderful response on our previous videos, we have come up with yet another fresh topic. This time around, we will be talking about a player, an all rounder who has been making the headlines for the last few months. Right from his return to MI as the IPL captain, all the way to bowling the final over in the T20 World Cup, his life has come a full circle. I'm sure you guessed it right. We're talking about Hardik Pandya. And to discuss on the topic, I'm joined by two of my guests, Saptarshi Das and Abhishek Bhattacharya. Welcome, gentlemen. So let's get started. So, my first topic would be considering Hardik Pandya as an all rounder. Of course, he has a lot to offer, both in terms of batting as well as his bowling skills. And I would like to ask Saptarshi to share his thoughts on Hardik Pandya, the batter.
Yeah, sure. Hardik Pandya, the batter. I mean, the first time I saw Hardik Pandya when he made his debut in an IPL match against Royal Challengers Bangalore, it was at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. MI were playing very well in that game. They were at a good stage, and then he came with a couple of overs left. And on his second ball, he smashed a massive six. And then another day when I saw his potential was in a match against CSK at the Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. MI needed some 30 odd runs in the last 2 overs, and he smashed Pavan Negi for 3 or 4 sixes in the 19th over. And that's where I knew that this guy has some real talent and he's gonna do wonders for India in the long run. And then in some time he got his India debut, and who can forget his blistering 76-run knock in that Champions Trophy final? Yeah, I know India had a nightmarish loss, but the way he smashed the Pakistan bowlers to all corners of the park without any pressure of final at such a young age just speaks volumes of his mental confidence and courage. And then again, he has always stepped up for India in on big occasions. Even if you remember that semi-final versus England T20 World Cup 2022
Yes,
Adelaide, again that was a match where his knock sort of pushed India to that 170 run mark. Otherwise India would have maybe reached max 150 runs. He smashed Sam Curran, the best bowler of the tournament, for quite a few boundaries in that penultimate over, and then he even smashed Chris Jordan in the last over. And then even if I speak of his batting in red ball cricket, he hasn't played a lot of red ball cricket, but if you remember in red ball cricket, he had his debut series in Sri Lanka, and in his debut series only he smashed a blistering 100. And then who can forget his 90 odd run knock versus South Africa? When none of the Indian batters could face that pace and bounce at Cape Town, he was on a different level. And what an innings he played on his debut innings in South Africa. So he's always been that kind of a batter whom you can look up to in adverse situations. He's not someone who has a very pristine technique, not very eye-pleasing shots. He will not play shots like a Joe Root or a Virat Kohli or a Steve Smith. But on days when you require him the most, he will always step up, and in his unorthodox yet effective manner, he will always score runs for the team.
absolutely, Saptarshi. I think you just spoke all our hearts out. And just to add to that, I think ever since Yuvraj Singh left, I think India were always looking for one such player who can maybe who is quite handy with the ball and also can hit
Yeah,
some big shots. Yeah,
Yeah, and more so, the thing is that Hardik Pandya is a pace bowling all rounder, which India never had a very good one. There have been people who have slotted in that position. Irfan Pathan played some matches. They had Stuart Binney. India recently tried Venkatesh Iyer and maybe a few other guys. But I think after Kapil Dev, the best pace bowling all rounder that India have got is Hardik Pandya, and it's actually India's loss that Hardik hasn't been able to play red ball cricket a lot, because had he played red ball cricket
absolutely.
more, I think he would have been an absolute asset, especially in Sena conditions where he would have bowled those occasional overs and then played counter-attacking innings, much like how Mitchell Marsh plays for Australia, or Cameron Green plays for Australia, or maybe Ben Stokes plays for England.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, as you said, I think he has been not utilized to the full extent as he should have been. Right.
Yeah, also his injury issues have been a bit unfortunate, but I think he still has a lot to offer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Saptashi, so much for that. Well, now as we have talked about the batting aspect of Hardik Pandya, I would like to move on to my next guest, Abhishek Bhattacharya, to speak on Hardik Pandya, the bowler. Abhishek, your thoughts on that?
As you guys already mentioned, that playing Hardik Pandya not playing in the Test cricket is a great loss for us because with the bowling capabilities, we all know what he can do. Like his
Absolutely.
prowess with his fifer at his trend pitch speaks volume of his prowess with his red ball bowling abilities also, and not and he's constantly being able to bowl that 140 plus length, hitting the deck hard and troubling batsmen with that short pitch balls. He has always been able to produce match winning spells. Be it, in the last series, I remember against England, where he picked lots of crucial deliveries in that series in 2022. Against Pakistan, he was in crunch matches. He always produces great spells. Be it against Pakistan in the 2022 World Cup, be it this year's World Cup, more specifically,
Yeah,
where he dismissed Fakhar Zaman, who was hitting balls straight to the cleaners, and dismissed him with that short pitch ball, which Fakhar Zaman could not read. And who would forget that final? I mean,
absolutely.
dismissing Hendrich Klassen and also uh, the David Miller in the
Yeah,
last over at any like you cannot tell that David Miller can score 16 runs on his good day he can smash you for 20 runs and an over, and so we have seen the best of bowlers also get got hitten for four sixes and like Ben Stokes got hit in the 2016 World Cup. So
yeah. Who can forget
all
that?
about
Yes.
it's all about how you can keep your nerves, and I believe very much that Ben Stokes is like Ben Stokes. Hardik Pandya is a very is a proven match winner. The only difference between Hardik Pandya and Ben Stokes is that Hardik Pandya is very much injury prone and Ben Stokes is not. That's the reason he has been not able to play that much red ball cricket, which we all wanted to desire. But with in white ball cricket, he has always picked up prize scalps. One last point I want to add is that the last year's Asia Cup, where he dismissed Babarism, their Pakistan's main batter, that in swinger, who can forget that pitch of a delivery?
Yeah,
That means he
Yes.
has all the skills with and has all the abilities to get big scalps. So it speaks. So there has been numerous occasions where he has given match-winning performances, and we all need Hardik as a bowler, not just as a batsman.
surely, surely. I think
Yes.
his addition as in the bowling lineup, I mean, as a maybe we can say as a bowler, I think that adds a really, I mean, he acts as a really crucial asset
Yeah,
for
and
India in the bowling attack.
his addition in the T20 World Cup meant that India could play with just two genuine pacers, and because of that, they could slot in Akshar Patel as another bowler, and then they could use Akshar Patel's batting as a floater.
Thank you so much for that. Moving on to our next topic of discussion, the very hot topic of discussion, I can say IPL 2024. Well, all sorts of news coming up. Rohit removed from captaincy, Hardik back to MI, all sorts of stories cooking up. MI's bad performance, only 4 wins, ending up as the last team in the table. I would like to move to Saptarshi. Can you throw some light on that, please?
Yeah, so the news, all those news started coming up maybe a couple of days after that nightmarish World Cup loss at Ahmedabad. Everyone was lamenting that loss, and then all of a sudden a news sprang up. Hardik Pandya to make his comeback to Mumbai Indians. I mean, Hardik had been an integral part of the Mumbai Indians lineup when they used to win trophies every alternate year till 2020. Then
Yeah,
in 2022, when the mega auctions came out with two new teams coming up, Hardik just had a move to the Gujarat Titans, and he had two splendid seasons with them. I mean, first year
absolutely.
he
Two finals.
he contributed with both bat and ball, and he was the man of the match in the final. And he's till now only the second captain in IPL to win a man of the match in the finals after Rohit Sharma. So
Yeah,
he had an immensely good season with the Gujarat Titans in 2022, leading them to an IPL victory in their maiden season, and then he made his comeback in the Indian team also. Even in 2023, he was just, one good ball away from a victory. So he had two splendid seasons, and nobody even thought that he would leave that team. And then all of a sudden, the news came up that he was moving to Mumbai Indians, and then the trade was confirmed. He moved to Mumbai Indians, and because of that, Mumbai Indians removed Cameron Green and they traded him to RCB to free up the purse. And now the even bigger thing came up a month later, right before the auctions, when Hardik Pandya was announced the captain, and everyone was shocked. How can you just remove Rohit Sharma from captaincy for no reason when he has been such a successful leader? I mean, he has been one of the best captains in IPL. I mean, you can say on the basis of trophies, he is joint best with MS Dhoni with 5 titles.
absolutely.
So, he has been so successful for MI. Maybe he hasn't had so much good returns in his batting in recent years, but in captaincy, he has been very successful, and he led them to 5 IPL titles. And it was that point that started the outrage from fans. And then when the IPL started, who can forget how Hardik was brutally trolled and booed in every game? People just behaved like he was maybe some player from other team, and they booed him relentlessly. And at one point of time, I remember in that MIRR game, Sanjay Manjrekar at toss shouted at the crowd saying "behave," and that was, really surprising. So there was some huge outrage from the fans, and as the IPL started, MI kept losing game after game. Hardik's performances dwindled, and nothing was going right for Hardik. Yeah, I know he scored some 200 odd runs, but he was absolutely not effective. He was not able to smash it at the death. Neither was he able to come in the middle and consolidate the innings. And then his bowling improved in the second half of the tournament, and he picked up some 11 or 12 wickets. But again, it was at a very poor economy rate. And if I remember
Yeah,
that CSK game, because I went to watch that game live, and that CSK game, the game was at a crucial juncture. CSK were 180 odd in the and at the 19 over mark. Then Hardik came down to bowl the last over. Daryl Mitchell gets out. In walks Ithala, MS Dhoni, and he smashes in for 3 sixes, 20 runs of 4 balls, and it was those 20 runs that MI lost by.
yeah,
So Hardik's bowling, although he picked up wickets, he ended up leaking a hell lot of runs. And nothing just went good for him. And overall, MI also finished at the bottom of the table with just 4 wins, and they lost matches from even good positions. And everyone just kept on questioning his captaincy, his performance, both as a batter and a bowler. And quite a few people even questioned his place in the T20 World Cup at that point of
yeah,
time. Many people were saying that he should be dropped from T20 World Cup. Maybe Shivam Dubey should be the pace bowling all rounder, maybe pick up Venkatesh and someone else. But Hardik Pandya should be nowhere near the T20 World Cup squad. And that was absolutely shocking, because a player who has performed for so many years for India, how can you judge him based on just one IPL tournament? That was really harsh on Hardik, but that's how things
absolutely,
go in sports. When it's your day, it's your day, and when nothing goes your way, no one is by your side. So
absolutely,
that's it.
absolutely. I think really well summed up. I must say, Hardik was having, I can say one of, if not the toughest times of his career back then. And really, when things go against you, absolutely, you feel like as if all doors are locked right in front of you. Absolutely. All right, moving on to our next topic of discussion and our final topic of discussion today. And this time, I would like to go to Abhishek. Well, the sad chapter finally about to get over. In comes the T20 World Cup 2024. And we see Hardik Pandya's redemption, bowling the final over in a winning cause, and India lifting the trophy ever since 2007. Your thoughts on that? How you felt? Can this be a crucial juncture in Hardik Pandya's cricketing career? Abhishek.
Yes. So as you mentioned, the horrible season that Hardik Pandya had in IPL,
Yeah,
it, but and lots of booing and not that much support from the people. The first, I remember watching the practice game in the against Bangladesh in the before the World Cup started. He was back in
right.
form, so I was very much sure that okay, IPL matches are a bit over, but when it comes to international, I don't think there are much better all-rounders currently in T20 cricket other than Hardik
Hmm.
Pandya. His
Absolutely.
performance against Pakistan speaks volumes, where he took the wickets of Shadab Khan, as I already mentioned, Fakhar Zaman, who was hitting balls to the cleaners. And I believe he is one of the most dangerous batsmen there in the Pakistani team, who could forget the 2017 Champions Trophy final. Very single-handedly, like dismantled the Indian bowling lineup. And if he
Yeah,
could have stayed for 1 2 or more overs, he could have finished the game. From 48 or 48,
absolutely.
he bowled a short pitch bowler, bouncer, and Fakhar Zaman is gone. And then obviously, then he dismisses Shadab Khan, who is also one of the means batters with a good healthy strike rate. Then you move to the remaining later matches in the Super 8 against Afghanistan. Is a superb batting performance against Bangladesh in Australia. That crucial knock means in
Hmm.
every matches he has contributed. Then you come to the semi-final, and that smashing two sixes of the penalty like the last overs, means the death overs against Chris Jordan, took India to what could have been around 150 target to 170, which was above par score in that ground.
Yeah,
And England felt that pressure, that extra pressure of 20 runs created a big difference. And and it was evident that when they started playing, they means started playing bad shots, which they normally could have avoided, like Josh Butter playing that reverse sweep, which was not much needed because of that higher run rate and the ball gripping and all those things, the spinners. So it was so every match. Then talking about the final, as already mentioned, if from 30 of 30, if Hendrich Persson stayed for 2 more overs, the match could have been finished. It could have been easily
absolutely.
finished,
Absolutely.
but he dismissed him for the very first ball and then gave dot balls after dot balls. Then uh, dismissing Miller. And also, we need to remember that Roberto is not a mug with the bat. He can also you hit you for sixes. In
Yeah,
IPL, I've
yeah.
seen him hitting sixes. In international, also in test matches, also I've seen Roberto hit
Yeah, even in
sixes.
test matches, he's much better than a night watchman. He can slog
Yes.
a couple of sixes. He has got that
So
power with the bat.
even I think in remember in Champions Trophy also in 2017, I remember him hitting sixes. So he's no mug with the bat, and he did
Yeah, yeah.
hit a four also, which was of the I think the edge which went. So this speaks volumes of with both as bat and ball. He provided support to India in every game, and that speaks volumes. 48 average, around with around 150 strike rate, and economy of around 7. What do you more need from a batting all-rounder? People were telling that Shivam Dube is a much better all-rounder, and when Shubham Dube was performing well, and people were telling that bring Shivam Dube. I mean, how can you? He is good, but he is not that much good against pacers. And how can you compare a bowler against a
Yeah,
batter
he
who can
has
hit
his
fast
problems against
bowlers?
the short ball. Yeah,
Against a fast ball, he was exposed in that flat RCP track against Lockie Ferguson. And how can you
yeah,
compare with and Hardik Pandya can hit any bowler on any given day for six. So like this speaks volumes of
Yeah,
his
I mean, yeah, Shivang Dube
capabilities.
definitely has his issues against those hard link deliveries. I mean, yeah, Hardik also sometimes have his issues, but then again, Hardik is a much higher level player. I mean, you just can't compare his quality with Shivam Dube and Venkatesh. I had absolutely no disrespect to those players, but then again, Hardik is too good a player to be compared to everyone.
Yes. At the end of the day, I will call the people who are calling Hardik Pandya with whatever they were calling as cricketing illiterates. Nothing more than that. Like they either they don't know about cricket or they were running any propaganda or any
Yeah,
agenda
I
against
mean,
them.
those guys should be
That's all.
absolutely ashamed, and I mean, they should be absolutely ashamed, and I would say they're a disgrace to this gentleman's game.
Yes,
absolutely.
and with this
Absolutely.
trophy, it was a tight slap to their faces, and I feel very sad for Hardik Pandya because it was not his fault. It was actually Mumbai Indians and Mark Boucher, the team management fault, which he has nothing to do with it. If they decided to make Hardik Pandya captain, they decided. It was not that Hardik Pandya told them that okay, give me captaincy and I don't want Rohit as the captain. It's not like that. Like that.
Totally
It was
agreed. Totally
management's
agreed.
fault, and it was because of management's fault he had to suffer.
Okay. All right then, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your inputs on all those topics. And also, I would like to thank our audience for their wonderful response that they have showered us upon. And we will be expecting similar response in our upcoming videos. We will be coming up with better videos, even more exciting content. Please continue your support, keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. And don't forget to press the bell icon in order to receive further updates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
Bye.